Council meeting to order. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge? Mr. Fish, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer or meditation, and please keep in that your thoughts for the great Dolly Parton. Thank you. Do a roll call, please, Melody.
Councilman Holtz.
Present.
Councilman Perry.
Here.
Councilman King.
Here.
Councilman Mishler.
Present.
Councilman Fish.
Here.
Councilman Hines.
Here.
Councilman Crabtree.
Here.
Councilman Hinkie. President Dawson.
Present. Make sure you speak directly into your mic when you're speaking, so we make sure we get everything recorded. And if you come to speak, make sure you sign in with your full name, please. Would you please read proposed ordinance on second reading, proposed ordinance 26-0-32 by title, please?
Proposed ordinance 26-0-32, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, establishing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance and processing of new applications for data centers and battery energy storage facilities and directing impact studies to inform future land use standards.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt this on second reading?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fish, second by Mrs. Hines. Council discussion. Mr. Mishler.
Thank you. John, if you would so kindly, can you tell us briefly what a moratorium is? There's some confusion around what the definition of the word is.
Sure. John Esper, Corporation Counsel. The moratorium proposal that you have before you this evening is a temporary pause. It is a stopgap measure to take the time to conduct the studies that you're directing it conducted in order to inform you on any future unified development ordinance.
Thank you. And after this is passed, until its expiration, will any applications for data centers or battery storage facilities be accepted to be constructed?
No, that is the purpose of the moratorium, to place a pause on the acceptance or consideration of applications during the time that you conduct the information that you need to act and create good policy on.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Hinkie.
Mr. Esper, just a couple of clarifiers. The moratorium does permit some other lateral uses of smaller sizes, correct? It's not a blanket stoppage.
If you have a business with a server room, it's not going to put a stop to.
Up to certain measures.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then could you speak to several states have had significant litigation secondary to moratoriums, contrary where the investment was initiated or even planning phases, land purchases, engineering designs. Do you feel as though we are well protected from litigation with this particular moratorium?
I believe the city of Elkhart is particularly well positioned to defend itself against any legal challenge. We do not have any applications pending for the use of property as a data center or battery energy storage system. And we do not have currently a zoning ordinance that specifies for that use of land. So we're not changing by what happens this evening the status of our laws as they exist, or changing any applications that are underway, because there are none.
And then finally, is this particular moratorium specific enough to Elkhart, Indiana, or was this somewhat and adaptation from another city or state?
It's like many projects. It's the collection of research for decisions that have been made by other communities, other states, and adjustments for our community.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other council discussion? Mr. Fish?
Well, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Well, I haven't received any positives about this moratorium. So I have a statement here to read in just a moment. But the question I have before you, or more of a statement, is we have our discussion on this moratorium is unique to us. We're not copying anybody across the country. There have been some lawsuits threatened, but I haven't, through my research, seen anything that's specific to stop data centers. Is that something you can comment on? We're not really.
That's not what this temporary moratorium proposes to do at all.
Okay. I'd like to read.
Mr. Fish, before you do that, are we online back there? IT guys?
We want to
All right.
pause that.
Do you want to, you going to be able to correct those pretty quickly, or?
But it is viewable.
John, could you kind of, are we still good?
It's being recorded. Okay, it's still
We're-
available for
We're
streaming.
good?
Yes.
We're good. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Fish?
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from the people here today. I haven't received a lot of response on the street or through emails. But I think this will be a foundation of what is to come, whether data centers become our reality or not. The need for additional information, better rules and regulations, and resource management around data centers does not end here tonight. This is, in fact, only the beginning. The proposed moratorium will give us something other communities are lacking, and that is a clear set of rules moving forward. I believe that the process of data center development across this country has been haphazard, helter-skelter, whatever you want to use the term. One final point. I believe the information that is provided by us as private citizens, medical, personal, creative work, music, art, etc., belongs to us, the individual that creates it, not stuck in an autonomous data center somewhere. And as we move this data center conversation forward, my vote for the moratorium will reflect that support. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'm going to open up to the public. If you want to speak, please come forward. Make sure you sign in so we can get you as a matter of record. And there's a timer right here where you'll each receive 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Name's Howard Turner from Elkhart. I am opposed to data centers. I do support battery storage facilities. I do realize data centers are coming. They are the future. I don't believe or trust the science fiction tech creators. I do not believe AI will ever live up to the hype, nor do I want to own a robot that will go run my machine at work. I am a machinist. That I was able to write this opinion on my own, not even using spell check. I also resent that when I go into a store, I am being recorded the entire time I am there. I'm not going to steal your stuff. Why are you recording me? If I was, I would disguise myself. I get discouraged every time I go to a website and I have to opt out of cookies or any other tracking tools. Why can't the default setting be no tracking unless I say you can track me? I know this moratorium, with this moratorium, the city will be able to find out the proper distances to make it a good neighbor, cure any lighting issues, noise canceling fixes, find out the pollution that the industry will cause, because all industry causes pollution, and Our history is just letting industry do whatever it wants. We don't need to do that. My question then, what are we going to do in the 5 to 10 years when the technology exceeds the data center or us people get tired of the unmet promises? We are led to believe that they're going to pay a huge amount of money in property taxes, which that's going to then cause a huge hole that we're going to have to fill in 5 to 10 years once we get used to having these millions of dollars. Also in Indiana, I believe our governor is wanting to eliminate property taxes. If I am correct and he is successful, what are we going to do then? If they're not giving us property taxes, what are their benefit? When we do finally allow them, can we require the property that they would be put on to be already zoned for that use, not a farm that's going to get rezoned and then sold for a data center? Can we also maybe have them make their own renewable energy, be it solar, wind, hydro, depending upon where it's located, whatever combination, that will lessen the demand on our grid so that they're actually self-sufficient. And I'm also against any abatements for them. Actually, almost against abatements in period. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Please come forward.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Sanders. Thank you for letting us come today. I would like to address something that President Dawson said that really spoke to me. It said, would the council like to gather more information and understanding regarding data centers, how they are doing nationwide, and what really looks like to have them in our communities? A data center definition is a facility housing computer systems related equipment used for storage and processing large amount of data. Our very own state has 125 data centers and more to be added. So far, our city hasn't been selected, and my moral opinion is it needs to stay that way. No to data centers. Here is why it should be a no. Federal and state funding is being lost. Example, New Carlisle, Indiana, the residents there are taking in the aftermath of data centers close to their homes. Water quality is downfalling, air quality massively is changing. They are draining the water from local groundwater. Resident bills are increased, such as electric and gas. The state of Memphis alone has methane gas turbines that are producing tons of smog that creates nitrogen oxide, PM 2.5, also allowing a well-known carcinogen called formaldehyde. Hearing this is a scary thing, and it should remain the foundation on not bringing data centers to Elkhart County. They are projected to use 2 gigawatts, the same as 2 billion watts. An average home can use between 5,000 and 20,000 watts, depending on the appliances that is running. The data center power surge is the same amount as 1.5 to 2 million average American homes. The amount of water usage they use is 50,000 people. Elkhart alone has the highest count in the county of 54,092 people, given that Elkhart has almost the equivalent amount of water power needed to cool down a data center. I'll leave with this. Money sounds good because of the upgrades it can give the county, but also we are allowing big tech billionaires to control us even more. I'd rather have my moral humanity values over the madness of the evil green machine.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak with regards to data centers? This ordinance.
Good evening, Council. John Brewer, West Hubbard Avenue. I think my experience throughout this has been one that is going to test many municipalities, many counties, many governing bodies. I have never seen more people united in one cause than over data centers. And universally, it has been in opposition. We question the world we leave behind for the next generations, the world that we have going forward for ourselves, and ultimately what our representation is doing for us. Whether or not these are going to make a lot of money for cities and counties, that's even still up for debate, honestly. In the short term, sure. But I believe that what this is a good first step. And I believe that as long as you guys keep listening, and as long as our representatives statewide, countywide, keep listening, then you have a chance at reelection. You have a chance at being remembered for being good representatives of the people that you serve. Thank you. I am against data centers, and I'm very for this moratorium.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Kristen Murphy. I live in Bristol. Just
Did you sign in? Is everybody signing in when you come up here?
I just wanted to comment as well on the other two gentlemen's concerns about healthcare. I work in healthcare. I'm new to the area. We have a shortage of healthcare.
You step up to the mic
Yeah.
so everybody can hear you.
I work in healthcare. I'm concerned about the environmental concerns. I work specifically with kids. I'm worried about air pollution. I'm worried about asthma. I'm worried about particulates, how these may be carcinogens that cause cancer. Noise pollution is a major concern. I'm concerned about water pollution, water resources. This is the air we breathe. This is the water we drink. And those most vulnerable children and elderly to something that we don't understand yet is a real concern. And I don't think it's fair until we adequately research and understand this and know how to safely move forward. I'm absolutely against data centers. And I think that we need to focus on building communities. One of the coolest things is the Elkhart Fitness Center. You're lifting so many parts of our community up, seniors, young people, community centers. There are other businesses that will lift our community, and I don't see this really impacting it in a positive way. It doesn't provide enough jobs. Noise pollution disrupts sleep. It causes stress that raises high blood pressure, leads to cardiovascular events. I think we all know people that have respiratory problems, that have cardiovascular events, and it's already a difficult problem getting care here. I come from a larger city, and I feel like we really need to protect our population first. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Hi, my name's Amber Everts. I live here in Elkhart. I grew up in Michiana, and I'm opposed to data centers and battery storage facilities inside the city limits. I'm opposed to them inside the county. I'd like to see a ban on data centers and not just a moratorium. A lot of counties have started with moratoriums, and I think that's a good first step. But there are other counties in this state that have proven that bans are possible and are not currently being legally challenged. I don't think that concerns about legal challenges is enough to overcome the concerns of having data centers. And I think that people in this community don't want them, overwhelmingly don't want them. And as an effort to listen to those people, you would support a ban. So if the city's concerns for legal concerns for a ban lead to only a moratorium, I'd be seeking that the people on this council commit to voting no to all future data centers, because the next election is November of 2027, and this ban will be up after that election. So I'd like to see people commit to voting no in 2028 and future years as well. Part of my concern is because I watched the Planning Commission meeting that brought up the ordinance, and Mike Huber made a point to say that the city did not want to take a moratorium approach, yet we're here today talking about a moratorium. It leads to concerns that wasn't the first step that the city wanted to take, and led to doing that because of the backlash. And I'd like them to see that backlash and move forward with a ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you signed in, correct? Thank you, Dwight. Please make sure you sign in. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience?
Hi, greetings, everyone. My name is Nikisha, and I spoke actually to the Redevelopment Commission about this, so I'm just going to repeat some of what I shared there and offer a few more thoughts. So I had the displeasure of sitting through 2 hours of what was basically a snake oil marketing pitch from a data center salesperson, not a scientist, not an environmental expert, a salesperson. And to those who don't know better, a data center sounds really good. Join the wave of the future. Don't get left behind. And so a community that lacks information and lacks a willingness to listen to its residents is susceptible to fall prey to that kind of marketing pitch and that kind of, if you don't do it, you're going to be left in the dark. And so I applaud that you all are not just doing a moratorium, but you are doing a moratorium with an intent to find out more information. I am certain that the information that you find will lead you to say no to data centers permanently. I didn't hear a single grandmother, a single realtor, a single scientist, a single water expert speak in favor of that meeting where we were not able to talk until after midnight. So you have to understand the tactics that some of these people use as well to try and get these into communities, even though there's a lot of resistance. I encourage you when you're reviewing these to not only look at data centers one at a time. One person will come in and tell you they're going to use a closed loop system. Somebody else is going to come and tell you they're going to do this other way of doing it, but look at it in totality. Right now in Gary, Indiana, there are people who have been without power for 2 weeks in Data Center Alley. So we're just talking about water. We're not just talking about air. We're also talking about grid capacity. And I don't know about you, but I don't know that I can survive 2 weeks without power and ongoing. And these people are paying insane amounts of money for their electric bill every month. So not only looking at individual data centers, but looking at what it does to have all of these dropped onto a community at one time. And I would also encourage you to use your voices and use who you represent as the county talks about data centers, because I know that this is just for the city. But, whatever happens in the county as we are trying to beautify, as we are trying to build new shiny things, it's going to affect people's desire to live in this city. So thank you. I support the moratorium. And if we can get them out of here forever, I would support that too.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? Is there anyone else in the audience? Going one more time. Is there anyone else? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Kaufman, Carolina Avenue, Elkhart. I just have 3 questions that I would like to see the council answer, hopefully before we see a vote. I think it's kind of important that maybe the people would see these because I noticed it does say it's a temporary moratorium. No new applications for data centers or battery energy storage would be accepted. So question 1, what applications have been accepted already? 2, what stage in the process are each of those applications in? And 3, what properties, if any, are specifically being looked at for each of those applications that maybe have already been accepted in that process?
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak?
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm actually from Middlebury, and I'm here because I'm concerned about the regional impact of the data centers, particularly on the groundwater and water resources. I understand this is an Elkhart City decision, but the groundwater and infrastructure don't necessarily stop at the city boundaries. My biggest concern is whether the city will require a regional groundwater impact study before approving and permitting such large data centers, including an assessment of where the water will come from, how much it will consume, and whether that could affect neighboring communities such as Middlebury. I would like to see the moratorium put into place to allow time to properly study these potential impacts before moving forward with such large data center developments, especially considering how large of a farming community we live in. Thank you for hearing me.
Did you sign in? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else?
Good evening, Council. My name is Michelle Korich, and like corrupt politicians, I'd like to know which big tech companies have already applied. And because of their corruption, they're going to corrupt everyone else, not only environmentally, but whose pocket are they putting cash in? That's my question, both at the county and the city level. My other question is, you know, they're talking about all the energy usage and it is 2026. They're also talking about nuclear. So a small nuclear plant could also be involved in this situation. And if you want to walk down that path, then it's apparent that you are not applying your fiduciary duties to this city. As our fiduciaries, it is your responsibility to look into every angle. But one of the other things that concerns me more is the fact that someone in this administration's redevelopment department pitched this idea, and it got far enough to go to the Plan Commission. And the Plan Commission then heard information on it. And other than an elected official that has been appointed to that board, that's a quasi board. We don't elect the people that are on the Plan Commission. They're your patsies. So if someone in the redevelopment offices pitched this and it's made it this far, that's a problem because you're supposed to be looking out for us. And if an appointed person in this administration has pitched this idea, then that falls on the mayor because he appointed that person. And again, I find the timing interesting, much like one of the other speakers said. You all do these things after there's an election. It's a moratorium until after the election. So you can lie to us and try and gain votes, but you really don't care about the community. And you've made that evident because you can't get people in chairs for anything except things that negatively impact our community that shouldn't even be brought to this point. So I want to know where the nuclear plant's going. And I also want to know what is after they're done using us, who's going to be responsible for tearing it down?
Thank you. Sir, would you please remove your cap in the council chambers, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. No problem. No problem. I should have announced that before. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak with regards to this? Is there anyone else?
Good evening, councils. Bob Barnes, 205 Whitmer Avenue, Elkhart, Indiana, 46516. I'm here to speak on this moratorium. I've been doing research on data centers to the point that I'm not a professional or that would be a good profession of research for me, but I've learned a lot about the different types of data centers. I've learned watching how if data center development isn't handled right, we all have witnessed what happened in Bristol, Indiana, and I don't think that's the right approach about bringing data centers or any kind of advanced technology to Elkhart County, Elkhart City, period. My thing is, we need a certain amount of data centers, and there's different types. And I think there needs to be a discussion, an open discussion with the public and with elected officials about how these data centers and which ones would benefit us, which ones won't benefit us as a people or a community, and which ones we can just kick to the side. Myself, I think there's no room for a hyperscaled data center. We just see all these big massive buildings. They're a great suck to resources, and I don't think it'd work in Elkhart County or Elkhart City. But there's one type of data center that I think would work, and I think it's worth the conversation. And they're the edge data centers. And what they do, they set up and they're in smaller buildings that they're just like a regular office building or factory. And they feed data to certain manufacturers, machine shops, medicals, engineering, advanced engineering, people who make propulsion, Department of Defense, weapons, drones, whatever. And it's compudated. And I just like to look at this, and we need to seriously look at this. Elkhart City does not have the land mass to put in a hyperscale in. So that right there's an out. All right. But they do have places on the north side of town on Beardsley where CTS is, where we could have an advanced manufacturing hub. All right. I went to being a county commissioner, I went to Purdue University, and we learned about how gas turbines.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. You get 3 minutes, just like at the county commissioners meeting. You get 3 minutes. County council, you get 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak? Seeing none, we're going to turn it back to are you coming to speak?
Kevin Bullard, I think we've all met.
Kevin, make sure you sign in.
I will at the end. I don't want to waste my time. Behind me, I know that there's a lot of good people that work for the city of Elkhart, and I know that they will probably ask the right questions. Behind me, I look at Drew, I see Jeff, and hopefully, they'll be asking the questions if this ever comes around. And I know that you all want to do it correctly, and so do this people. But you look at Granger, at that construction that's going on, and you're thinking, oh my God, I think that construction project is more of a site than actually a finished data center or a large, advanced manufacturing is, getting the building, the cars in and out and all that. So the city, I know, wants to do it correctly. And so you're going to have to do traffic studies that are going to take months. You got phase 1, phase 2 environmental studies. It will take months. And I think those type of studies, if we wait till the end of the moratorium, ought to be paid for by a developer if that developer would happen to come to the city of Elkhart and not come off the citizens' dime. And then it's talking with another council member, maybe you guys, could review it every 3 to 6 months. Do a review of where we're at, what we know, do some type of presentation of the, data that's been, brought to the city council. And so again, I think data and solar is going to be the future, but we just need to make sure we do it correctly. We do it environmentally safe and to the wishes and needs and desires of the public. When I listened to the Planning Commission videotape, I kind of got a shock when Mike Huber said that he mentioned the word annexation. And I know I've mentioned this before, and I'm thinking, well, there's only two directions you can do a large scale annexation, and that's to the south towards Waukee or to the east towards where I live over south of Alliance RV, Moore Ride. I look at their factories every day. I hear their factories every day. And so again, I mentioned this before, listen to the Bristol Innovation Park restrictions that they put together through JPR. I like to have the noise maybe lowered at night instead of 60 decibels, maybe go down to 50. But I know we all, if this comes to fruition, we all just want to make sure that we do it correctly. And I appreciate you doing a moratorium to gather as much information as you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? Seeing none, we're going to turn it back to the council floor for council discussion. Mr. Hinkie.
I want to read a statement. Hopefully it adds some brevity to my normal speeches. But it sounds as though, we're at an all or nothing, and that's not where I want to be. I want to quote John Kennedy, let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. There's got to be middle room here. And what I do understand is that there's a moratorium. That's a pause. And I'm not interested in a forever pause. I'm just not. And I would suggest, and I did mention it to our prior councilman, a review every 3 months with city department heads to find out what we now know and what we can now do to facilitate further development. AI is here and data centers are a part of the big mix. And we do need that locally. And it doesn't mean that I am for a data center today. I'm for a moratorium today. But I want to make sure that we don't just stop and rest on that spot. Our job is to understand the measures in which we are willing to accept, which we are willing to now meet a developer and say, this is what we're looking for. This is what the criteria is in order to be in our particular city. And the suggestions are, I don't want developers to say, well, what do they want? Nobody knows. We haven't written anything. And I think that's what we would like to do. We do have current noise ordinances. And, because of the cooling fans and the electrical transformer noises that are just constant, but the current noise ordinance could say the same decibel meter reading at the edge of their property. We have a noise ordinance, and that would help with one issue. If you can't meet that criteria, you can't build here. The next one, the cooling systems, and we're surrounded by water, so we're especially vulnerable. It's great as long as the water's clean. I think the city has done a tremendous job cleaning up our riverways. Now would not be a great time to have lithium and other CAD stuff inside your waterways but a closed loop cooling system, a liquid to the rack or direct to the chip cooling systems are now the thing to have, and it bypasses that outside cooling need. So the closed loop systems, I think, are as mentioned earlier, designated electrical grids. I think California has been really pivotal in showing us what can go wrong with regard to use of energy blackouts and roaming blackouts and so on. We have our own issues in that nature locally. So I would think that as a framework to start with, we may want to consider, for those that are more intelligent about this process, designated feeds so it does not commingle with the city's feeds. And so we can keep billing separate. We can keep cost of maintenance of those lines separate. I would also think that, backup generators. Elkhart General Hospital uses 3 massive CAT generators at peak performance when they're doing MRIs and such, so that they don't destroy the grids locally as well. And that is something that people in the industry would know much better than myself and probably all others. But I do know performance bonds. So if you want to say, well, they build it, then what? What leverage do we have? And I would suggest that we would consider performance bonds that would be commensurate to the impact studies that would say, here's what damage could happen, and here's probably the damage to the community. And a performance bond paid for by the developer would cover that area. Limit battery storage based on environmental impact. The lady from Middlebury mentioned that, and I think that's a smart move. Disallow major battery storage. That has to be further investigated. That's where the heat and the fires are coming from at this time. I'm sure that the technology will advance itself to a much better place, and including the metals used in those batteries. Other considerations is to not allow any of these developments in abated areas or TIF areas, because then the city loses most of its leverage and its cost and risk of future maintenance of those same systems. I'm pretty comfortable that we can manage this. We just got to be careful who we listen to, because there are those people trying to develop, and there's those people who, you know, put the skids on to that. But I would rather move forward understanding the risk and addressing by measured results than just simply saying no. A moratorium is needed. I fully support that. But I would like us to come back with the mayor's team every 3 months, at the most every 6 months, and say, where are we? What language are we looking at? What have we learned? I don't want to tell developers not to come here. We are a business-friendly community. We count on that. So I will be supporting this moratorium.
Thank you. Any other council discussion? Mr. Mishler.
Thank you. I'm in a bit of a unique perspective from other folks on council, because I believe I'm the only one up here who has ever worked at a data center. For several months last year, I worked as a nurse at the Amazon facility in New Carlisle, providing first aid to construction workers there. And I also spent a little bit of time up in Wisconsin at a data center construction site as a nurse there as well. And one of the things that I noticed with my patients is a lot of them were not from Indiana. They were not from St. Joe County. They were not from Elkhart. While many were, the vast majority were from out of state. And that's one thing that I think we should consider as well as we study these and other large scale developments, is the impact on local labor that it could potentially have. Because if we have all of our masons building one site, if we have all of our electricians, steel and iron workers and pipe fitters working on one facility for several years, that means they're not building anything else. That means they're not addressing our housing concerns. They're not building apartments. That means they're not diversifying our economy in other ways. It's just another factor to consider as we look at the environmental concerns related to power, to water, to noise, to setbacks, property values, and all those things. And as such, I will be supporting this moratorium tonight. So we will have time to look at all of the factors that could potentially impact our community, so we can do our due diligence to protect our residents.
Thank you. Okay, David, believe it or not, I agree with everything you said. Write it down. I agree with everything you said. And that's what this moratorium is going to do. We not only need to counter the administration, though, we need to ourselves come together, visit communities. I know we're in a prime spot. We have plenty of water. We're a transportation hub. So they're going to come to us. I don't think we're going to miss out on anything by us taking time to do what we need to do our due diligence to make sure that if and when a data center should come to Elkhart City or Elkhart County, that it's what we want. It's what the citizens agree with. It's having an understanding of what a data center can and cannot do for our community. Does it employ people? You know, they don't get any tax breaks. You know, you come here and you become a part of this community in a way that's beneficial to the community. So we as a council, and I've been talking to the mayor of Hobart, the development services in LaPorte, Granger, just to get some conversation. I'd like for us to maybe even visit and meet with those individuals and see what they set up, and how it fits us. Because if it's going to come here, it's going to be what we want. We don't want the snake oil salesman coming here selling us something that we don't want, that we don't necessarily need. But being the industrial hub that we are for the state of Indiana, they're going to be here. They're going to be knocking at our door pretty soon. Melody, would you read this on third reading and do a roll call vote, please?
Proposed ordinance 26-0-32, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, establishing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance and processing of new applications for data centers and battery energy storage facilities and directing impact studies to inform future land use standards. Councilman Holtz?
Aye.
Councilman Curry?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Councilman Mishler?
Aye.
Councilman Fish?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines?
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree?
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie?
Aye.
President Dawson?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Can I get a motion for third and final? I have a motion for Mr.
Second.
Mishler, second for Mrs. Hines for third and final. Would you read it by title and do a roll call vote, please?
Proposed ordinance 26-0-32, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, establishing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance and processing of new applications for data centers and battery energy storage facilities and directing impact studies to inform future land use standards. Councilman Holtz?
Aye.
Councilman Curry?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Councilman Mishler?
Aye.
Councilman Fish?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hines?
Yes.
Councilman Crabtree?
Yes.
Councilman Hinkie?
Aye.
President Dawson?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. Having completed all business on the agenda, we are now adjourned.